firstly, the Constitution does allow a law to be retrospective. But that being said, depending on how you bring a case before the court, you have to look at what it means. The rule of law is what governs everything in the Constitution, and the rule of law means that nobody is above the law. So what has effectively happened is that Section 24 of the Finance and Audit Act creates a penalty which tells you anyone who contravenes it, and I like to make reference directly so that people appreciate it. It says that without prejudice to subsection 1 above, every person who contravenes or knowingly permits or suffers any other person to contravene or instigate any person to contravene any provision of this act or any regulations made thereunder shall be guilty of an offense and shall be liable on summary conviction to a fine not exceeding $10,000 or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years or to both fine and imprisonment. So what has happened is that we have a law that says if you contravene it, which clearly they have contravened Section 7 of the Finance and Audit Act by the mere fact that they have had to pass the PetroCaribe Loan Act and put in Section 3, 4, 5, and 6, where they're admitting, especially the one that deals, Section 4, that deals with, we are asking you to validate and confirm something we've done 2.5 years ago. So then that means that you recognize you did something illegal, you know there's a penalty to it, and know what you're saying, I am above the law. I'm above the Constitution, I'm above every kind of law, because now I am using my power of Parliament to now go to Parliament again and say, you see all that which I've done wrong, please allow me to use my power to undo what I've done wrong. So it would have to be how that constitutional motion is stated, because remember, we operate from the principle of everyone is equal before the law, so no one is above the law. That means not any member of Parliament. Then the other twist to it is that what you find is that the very violator, so I'm the one, it's the Prime Minister who's the Minister of Finance, so him and whoever helped him, who instigated, contravened this legislation or any way participated in it, that includes the financial secretary. But it is the Prime Minister who has the power now to control Parliament. He controls Cabinet, he controls Parliament, he has the biggest say, he tabled the legislation. So the very person who violates now turns around and in a position of conflict of interest tries to undo the very wrongdoing, the criminal wrongdoing. Then you have to look at it in light of what is happening. There's a case presently before the court, Julius Espat against the Attorney General, the Minister of Finance, and the government of Belize, basically. What you need to look at is that while a court should be able to give a ruling on that, what they have sought to do is circumvent that ruling by passing this act, which in itself, if you can't even find something constitutionally wrong with it, it has to be immoral, unethical, and against every principle of governance that a country could have. However, there's two schools of thought. There's the school of thought that says that if you change the law to try and circumvent a case at the time it is happening, it would therefore mean that the law as it stood at the time when you file the case stands. But there's a school of thought in law, because law is, you could always find arguments away that says, no, it is only if at the appeal level they try to change it, then the law as it is at the time of the appeal that stands. We know that it's not at the appeal level, it's only right now at the preliminary stage, at the first instance court, at the Supreme Court. So I believe, craftily investigated and put forward, there can be room for a case. I cannot guarantee a win. It's a challenge.